This is Nichel Anderson, and I'm your host for my podcast show, Surviving Your Journey Towards Success. In this particular episode, this will be episode 116, and the title is How Bullying Energy is the Same as Dumb Energy. We're going to get into that and all that other good stuff. So welcome to my show. I really appreciate your support and hanging out with me. And if you're just now joining me, please check out my book, Corporate America, Surviving Your Journey to Success. This particular topic is going to be focusing on not just in your work life, but also in your personal life. And we can get those type of people that bring that not so humble and respectful energy, and it just takes away our mental peace and our joyfulness. So we're going to get into that. It can happen in any type of aspect. And my book in itself, I didn't really talk about this when I wrote the book, but basically it kind of correlates to that. So Corporate America, Surviving Your Journey Towards Success, you can get that on Amazon or any other bookseller. And if you have bought my book, I do recommend or ask if you can go ahead and leave a positive review if you really loved it, and share that and so forth. If you haven't purchased my book, I do encourage you to do so. I am thinking about doing a webinar on this particular topic because we really get into the psychology of it, but nonetheless we have to, so we can be able to identify when these things happening, and that is basically energy, and we have to identify it, clear it out, and claim our mental peace and our intelligence. So without further ado, let's get into my welcome statement. And this is that in this day, I am thankful to the prime creator of all things, that I give thanks for this blessing and opportunity, that I will use it for the greater good. So welcome my survivors of the journey to my podcast. This is my 6th season. Can you believe it? I went for releasing every week to bi-weekly, and then now monthly I will be releasing my episodes as I work on several other projects and my dream, which is filming one of my books. So excited to kind of really focus on that and get that done, right? That's my dream. So anyway, welcome my survivors of the journey to my podcast that aims to inspire and motivate you to continue to have joyfulness in your heart, peace of mind, and for your sustained success. So let's get into this. How bullying energy is the same as dumb energy. And basically what I want to talk about on that is that I have noticed where friends or colleagues will talk about bullying and will emphasize how the person will lose their status, meaning that at one particular time they will present like a higher intellect, and then all of a sudden it's just kind of decline. Now this particular situation can be either or. It could be the bully itself, which that happens. Okay, that's all the time it happens if you really analyze that. Or it could be someone that's allowing the bullying to go on, and so their intelligence in a way reduced, meaning that, for a good example, is they will, if someone that say that, this is going on, the negativity by the bullying, and it could be a partner, it can be a friend, an environment where you're working with other people or be connected with other people, and the other person would just say, well, I don't really see anything. I mean, even though the person is could be saying something that is emotional abusive, there's nothing to see here. Everything's fine. And over time, even when you have a discussion with that person that supports that abuse, their intellect can be reduced, and it's that dummy effect. So dumb energy that I like to classify is a very limited and restrictive thinking, and it is not in a way that's encouraging, that can basically overpower someone else to their will and desires to what they were called to be. So that's not really the chosen path for humans, because we have free will, meaning you own your own choices. That's your power. And bully to me is just basically a person that wants to control that, because in their own world they feel inadequately about themselves, and so they use different forms and different types of people to do that, either in their own family or in their friends. So let's get into this with my point number 1. So my important point number 1 is that bullies take away yourself to gain their self-worth. And when you really think about, that's dummy energy. And my definition, as I mentioned earlier, is dummy energy is where you basically don't really want to deal with the facts. You want to just stay in a state of mind where it's not the norm, like 1 + 1 = 2, that kind of fundamental basics. You just change the whole logic. and it just goes out the window. And being into that bully energy, they don't want to accept your free will. They want to control it, use it for their own good. Now, when we look into the workplace itself, bullying can be very, very toxic, tenacious in hiding. When they hide that, then it presents a way that you can't really identify it because they put a professional face on it. I'm going to repeat that again. So bullies can be in your workplace and they put a professional mask on to cover what they really are. It could be like a little statement underneath their breath. It can be constantly harassing you about something, overly worked up about something that is not really a major issue, because you can still get the job done. You can still communicate. It's still the water is still flowing, but in their mind it's not. But it's just a matter of making you feel that you're not capable of something. So they definitely use words. It can be anything that you're not this, you need more of that, you need this needs to be set up a certain way. All that is control and it's labeling. All right. So bullies can work in many different ways. They come in different roles in a company, from the higher echelon of power or for the other end of the position. When we tap into that dummy energy, which is basically what I said earlier, is that it doesn't really focus on logic. It focuses on weakness. Weakness in a sense that just go ahead with the theme, even though it's not serving. Another thing you could identify bullies in the workplace, or even I'm going to talk about your personal life, is where ideas are limited. You're always looking for your idea or somebody's idea. It's very one way or the highway, even though the one way doesn't really work, and people often feel the energy. That's another thing you can take away to identify if that's going on in your workplace. If you're in management or if you're a subordinate, is when you don't feel good around them. You don't feel good when they come up with their new plans and programs and all of that, and it's self-serving, or it's like picking on you. That's a good takeaway. They talk the talk. Well, sure, you could take that. You could take that feedback. Could you take this feedback? Are you sure? Come on, you could take this feedback. Let me tell you this about you, And those are just code words to get you to, it's similar as someone, you're minding your business going down the street and they just all in your face, and they grab your arm and then they try to man wrestle you, as we say here in the United States, for come their way where they want to take you, or just by force. And they kind of put a little smile and a little giggle on it to dress it up. But really what that is dumb energy. You cannot control someone else. And when you manipulate, that's not really saying, you chose to do what I want to do. You manipulate it. And you use the situation in a workplace to take advantage. So dumb energy is the same as focusing on not acquiring the understanding to the truth that you can't just control someone else's will. You can't control someone else's decision of what they want to do. And that's what bullies are. And in a workplace, especially if they have power, they use all types of things because they have different data, they have different tools, and they got one mask on for senior leadership or one mask on for their team or their co-workers or what have you. Then they flip it to whatever group of people they're working with, and they switch out on you. And they do these little things. It's very, what do you call it? A passive aggressiveness. That's it. In the workplace. And you have to identify that. And you can identify that when the projects that are led by them are dumb. The suggestions that they want to do are dumb. They slip and say dumb things and actually say, oh, I'm smarter than you. You're dumb. No, you're dumb. So you go back in that realization of how insane that is. That's another word. They're insane. And I say that is because insanity is a step away from reality and truth. And bullying energy refuses to accept truth by the foundation of what I said earlier of respecting someone else's free will. And they show that in the behavior in a very unhealthy way. When they have tools and resources, they manipulate that And like, well, don't you want to do it this way? This is the right way. You gotta love this way. Oh, there's something wrong with you. They do that reverse psychology on you. And then when we're in a relationship, it's really bad because by then your heart is attached. So your heart is very difficult to let go. I'm gonna do another podcast about that. And with that retrospect, they really go on the emotional attack. And it's passive aggressiveness for the most part. And you kind of like second guessing yourself. So that's what you also got to do. Because to me, if you listen to my other podcasts, I motivate and I encourage. I don't use code words. You got to believe me because I know I'm right. I don't do none of that. I feel that the person that's listening to me have the intellect and the understanding. If they agree and they see that I'm here, that I'm trying to connect with them on a way that I'm not taking anything, I'm giving. And bully energy is always taking. If you don't feel good about it afterwards, guess what? That's a bully. That's taking. And if they make you cry on purpose and they're like, you can't take this, or you need to get over it. Excuse me? So that's not it. So here are the top 3 things to avoid, or at least to identify when that happens to you. So never allow a bully, this is the first one here, to say they are smarter than you. The big giveaway when that is obvious for them to think by force on you to surrender to their will that they are better than you. Never heard it. Oh, I'm not smarter than you. Okay, so why you got to try to have that type of conversation? Why does it have to be competitive, right? And the next thing is, number 2 is aim to see the sickness of, really this is low self-esteem, as the incapacity of holding on to their intelligence. I have seen it over and over again, and you got to go back and you got to think about it. Those bullies, over time, do their intelligence increase? Found out one way or the other, they go more insane. And to me, insane is basically refusing intelligence. So therefore, it's dumbness. I think Einstein said that when you continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, that's insanity. My glass of wine right there, that's it. I don't need to say anything more. He basically, to me, I take that as a saying, that's dumbness. Choosing to be dumb. Sometimes they just go rapping out because they all about themselves and end up being nothing but a dummy. A disrespectful dummy at that. Now that word usually in the United States, you don't really like to say it sometimes or whatever, compared to stupid. But to me, that's what it is, because they don't care about your emotions. They just sit there and just do like, take it. No, you take it. You're the one that's insecure. You're the one that needs to be able to control someone else. You're the one that's interrupting my journey to keep my mental peace. So you're the dumb one. That's what you got to say. And feel better about it because you claiming your mental peace. All right. The third thing is that you got to push back, which I just showed you, the BS that often makes no sense or reasoning for such a statement or action. It's dumb. It's dumb and it's disrespectful. So your task to dust to die is number 1. Let's see here. I have no right. Okay, you have to say that I have no right to sit here and listen to this and be a part of this. So come up with your own statement where you reclaim your power and you push back any bully, or I should say a dumb bully, to think that they're God, they're the universe, and I'm going to take what I want to take. You're not going to take anything. What you're going to take is what I'm about to say. You a dummy. I'm sorry. A disrespectful dummy. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take the word sorry back because you don't deserve it. You have to be proactive, all up in it, push back, and I'm guarantee you'll be pouring yourself something, getting some ice cream, whatever, and feel good about life. You have to own it, and that's your power. All right. The next part of your task to dust to dawn is, in my effort, you got to say that, in my effort to be happy and fully in my life, I will choose to have the pursuit of my happiness at any cost, and not let anybody or anything take that away from me, because I'm not a dummy. All right. And then the next thing for your task to dust to dawn is to kind of phrase it in a way during your day or what have you, that when they do that and it's painful, and they'll come back and they say, well, can you just forgive me? Can you just get over it? Let's just get this through. So in personal relationship, that happens all the time. But I learned once a bully, unfortunately, is always a bully. I don't know why they keep doing it. And you get the courage and you say, I can't forgive you anymore. I should have forgiven you before. And they keep doing it. And you just have to say no. And you move on. And you're going to be in such a happy place. Bullying to me is the most lowest, I think I did another podcast or a tweet on this, possible thing you can do in life. It encompasses all of the craziness and meanness and all of that. It's all in a dirty old pot. And it's wrong. It has a powerful effect on other people and their self-esteem. It's stealing. It's all of that negativity. And when you really look at it, it's dumbness. It's insanity. And once you look at it that way, when a bully comes in your life or your personal or your work life, you can say, no, I'm not the dummy. You are. All right, so the motivational takeaway is that we understand our life as a journey and make the decisions that will bring us to the road path that we desire, it's our destiny, and we demand it. We don't indulge in their dumbness and their disrespect. Instead, we move forward. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions of this, you want to reach out, go ahead and email me at info@nichelanderson.com. And guess what? I'll talk to you in the next one. Thank you.